Hi folks, Spidey's back again tonight. Yes, I am back with a very special movie. One of my all-time favorite movies. Oh my god, this movie is such a classic. But first, I want to dedicate this to a very special friend of mine, a brand new friend of mine, Kara Kay. Uh, she's wonderful and she is a great new friend. So this is for you, Kara Kay. Anyway, let's start with the movie reel. Well, look at back there. We got Michael Myers. You know, he's discoing right now. He's in Saturday Night Fever right now. He's discoing, man. Would you ladies like to disco with him, man? I can set you up with Michael Myers, man. He's a wonderful dancer. Oh, listen to that rain. It's Halloween night tonight, 2015, October 31st. So I just wanted to say hello to everybody. I hope you like our webcast, and we're going to be talking about a fantastic movie from 1982. One of my personal favorite movies of all time, The Thing. Oh my god, I love this movie. I watched this a couple days ago after a long a break from this movie. This is the 1982 version with John Carpenter's movie with Kurt Russell and a whole bunch of major stars in it. And I'm going to show you the cover of this one. Now, you're all going to ask me, what the hell is that? This is Red Ray. I'm not sure if you remember this, but maybe about 10 years ago, Red Ray was... I call them Red Ray because they're kind of... they're like Blu-ray, but it was HD DVDs. Remember this? Remember this format that came out? They were competing with Blu-ray at the time. Toshiba owned them, and Sony, and a bunch of... no, maybe Toshiba and some other companies. This is actually... I call it Red Ray. This is actually their version of the Red Ray version. The Thing version. Duh. That's a great movie, man. See, look at that thing right there. I actually think this is a better format than the Blu-ray. I think the quality, picture quality, was a little bit better than this. Folks, I actually have a Toshiba machine, a Red Ray player, a HD DVD player in my studio here, because I actually was a big fan of this particular format back when they were competing against Blu-ray, and I just think that these guys were actually much better. I actually thought the quality, the picture quality, was a little bit better. And a lot of people don't remember this, but some people might remember this. The battle between the two major corporations, trying to have, trying to get supremacy in the high definition video market, movie market. What do you want to call it? But anyway, we're going to talk about this movie because I don't have this movie on Blu-ray, by the way. I have it on. I call it, like I said, I call it Red Ray. It's a great movie. Oh my God, it's a great movie. Came out in 1982, directed by John Carpenter. It has a lot of major stars. It has Richard Masur, Richard Dysart, Donald Moffat, I think you pronounce his name. All these guys went on to great. Kurt Russell, of course. He was basically, the leader, of the. There's like 12 people in this particular camp, Antarctica, in 1982. I'm sure all of you've seen this movie tons of time in your in your collections and stuff. You have this movie. You got to have this movie in your collection. This is one of the greatest science fiction movies ever created. It has some... Rob Bottin does the special effects in this movie. It's produced by Larry Franco. Oh my God, this movie is a classic from start to finish. It's creepy, atmospheric. It's got some incredible special wax. Did I say wax? Special effects. How about... Does that sound a little bit better? I think I need to stop drinking these stupid little tall boy things before I do this. Of course, they used practical effects back then, actual latex and puppets and stuff like that, slime and goo and all kinds of crap like that, which I really prefer compared to the CGI effects of nowadays, because these were actually, workshop creatures and stuff like that, and and they were actually mechanical type things, monsters and slimy kind of things, and I just prefer practical effects. I think a lot of people in the industry is starting to go back to practical effects and try, they're starting to kind of like shy away, I think, from CGI effects and capture motion effects and stuff like that, because I think these effects are much more effective because they're they're more realistic to me, because they're actually made by, craftsmen in the studio at all these special effects studios around the world and stuff like that. So I actually prefer, practical effects as compared to CGI effects, and I just, my God, I think this, look at, we got a little bit different view on this cam tonight. I'm sitting a little bit lower, but so we can see, everybody can see the studio a little bit better. We got these lights flashing and everything. We got Michael Myers back there, discoing to Saturday Night Fever, the soundtrack and stuff like that. In his brain, at least, I don't know. He's completely demented. Yeah. Anyway. I think we did review the 2010. I think Michael Myers actually might have reviewed that one maybe a couple months ago, the prequel to this movie. But we're going to talk about this movie instead because this movie just stands out. Oh, it's incredible. You guys got to see this movie. If you've never seen this movie by John Carpenter, you have to get this movie in your collection. It's some of the creepiest, slimiest special effects and monsters and puppets you will ever see in your life. It's disgusting in every... Oh, my God. Oh, it kind of starts off with this dog coming from the Norwegian Antarctica camp, and he starts to gradually infect the members. There's 12 people in this particular American Antarctica scientific camp, or what do you want to call it. I don't know what they do there. Maybe they're just seeing, I don't know. It doesn't really make any difference. They're scientists and stuff like that. And if you've ever seen some of the effects in this movie, you will agree with me, especially, oh my God, when they take the dog, because it's been wandering around the camp all day, and they put it in the kennel with the other 5, 6, 7 dogs, Siberian Huskies, and, they shut the lights off, and he walks away. Richard Masur, he's like the dog trainer, the dog keeper, basically, of the camp, and, of course, the dog starts to, he starts to transform into a thing, because he's actually a thing, from the Norwegian camp that he just decimated, a day or two earlier. If you go check out the prequel to this movie, you'll understand what I'm saying, because it's like a 2-part movie. Even though this was filmed in 1982, 33 years ago? 92, yeah, 33 years ago. My God, I can't believe it's been that long. Oh, my God. Oh, well, anyway, the lights are off in the kennel, and the dog from the Norwegian camp, the Siberian Husky, he basically starts to split open and starts to try to grab the dog. The tentacles coming out. It's really slimy and disgusting, And of course, the dogs are screaming, as they're being absorbed, and killed and absorbed by this entity, the thing entity, and of course, Richard Masur comes back to find out why the dogs are screaming and everything and barking, out of their minds. Of course, they're basically being killed, killed and absorbed into a new life form by this goddamn slimy, disgusting thing. If you ever seen that kennel scene, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. All the rest of them come back, he pulls the alarm because something weird is going on inside the kennel, and the lights are busted, so all the crew members come back. All the crew members come back, and they basically, they have flashlights going in there, and they see this thing just absorbing all these dogs, tentacles wrapping around them and squirting goo on them, and it's disgusting. And of course, they open the kennel to find out, they get a better view of what's going on, and they're all in total disbelief, because when you see this as a special effect, I kind of particularly like this particular kennel scene because it's really graphic and it's really over-the-top special effects greatness. I mean, Rob Bottin did just a fantastic job in his crew of creating these special effects in this movie. I mean, I am a huge fan of this movie. I think a lot of people would agree with me in this movie. This movie rates like a 10 on the science fiction scale. I think it's literally a perfect movie, one of the greatest movies ever made of any genre of type of movies out there. Whether it be westerns, action thrillers, horror movies, whatever. This movie rates, I think, right up there with the greatest movies of all time. You know, and that's my opinion, but I think a lot of people would agree with me. Anyway, so, you know, they have to flamethrower the thing. It's, you know, it's sprouting out these weird hands and trying to, you know, trying to climb up into the rafters of the, you know, trying to escape basically, because it's been had, you know, by all the members. They know what the fuck's going on, and it's been, you know, but they flamethrow the thing, of course. You know, it kills it temporarily. You know, if the cells are still alive, of course, they bring it back to the, you know, the medical room, and they try to do an autopsy on it, and they find out there's dogs inside the thing. It's not real dogs; they're basically duplicates, they're copies, because that's what the thing does. It basically gets you alone, and it basically kills you, absorbs you, and turns you into one of its things. But you can't tell it's a thing, because it looks just like the people, it looks just like, it talks like them, everything. But it's actually a thing, just waiting to strike again on one of the other, you know, one of the scientific members. You know, so it's a great scene. It's a great scene. It is just, it'll just give you, it put chills up your spine. It really will. You know, and but there's a lot of great scenes. You know, as the movie goes along, they go back to the Norwegian camp, and they find out that some bullshit had happened. The whole camp is burned down, and all the crew members are gone except the radio guy who slit his throat and his wrists and stuff. And they bring back a like a video camera of stuff they were looking at, you know, 20, 30 miles outside their camp, and they find out that there was actually a spaceship. They had found a spaceship, and they had, you know, basically destroyed it. You know, it's like a giant. It's been there for 100,000 years. So then they find an occupant buried, you know, maybe not too far from the this flying saucer, if you want to call that, you know, the flying saucer. Of course, they bring it back to camp. The Norwegian guys, of course, the thing breaks loose and it destroys the entire camp, and then it, you know, turns into a dog basically and goes to the American camp. And that's where this movie picks up. But some of the scenes in this movie are truly outstanding. You know, the acting's really good. There's a sense of paranoia. There's a sense of, you know, nobody trusts anybody because they know that this thing could be hiding in one of their personnel. And they're just horrified, you know, because they don't know how to fight this thing, you know. You know, and you know, there's I mean, I'm not going to give every little scene away, but I think if any of you have seen this movie, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, that rain is really creepy tonight. It actually rates, like I said. I'm going to give this movie a 10 because this movie is one of my favorites of all time. You know, as it, you know, the thing starts to knock off these people one at a time, you know, and you know, Kurt Russell is actually the leader, you know, he's like the helicopter pilot, you know, and he's the one that only has any common sense, you know. He actually steals the show as well, actually, all the actors are very good in this movie. They're, you know, everybody's outstanding. The actors, you know, dialogue, you know, special effects. Everybody's believable in this movie. They all get paranoid about each other, you know. They're always, you know, pointing their fingers at somebody, you know. They don't want to do this with that person, you know, because he could be a thing, you know. And the movie is just full of all kinds of suspense and everything, and, you know, and it actually got some intentional humor in there, which kind of makes the movie kind of cool at times, you know. One guy offs himself by burning himself outside with a flare because he doesn't want to face the thing, you know, because he knows it's going to eventually get him. Fuchs, I think his name is. He knows he's going to eventually get killed by the thing, you know, because the movie, of course, ends horribly with Kurt Russell and Keith David, I believe, as the last two surviving members. But I'm not going to talk about that right now. There's a great scene when I can't think of the guy's Charles Callahan or something. He has a heart attack, and of course Richard Dicehart, you know, is trying to do the electroshock shock on his chest. You know, this is a great scene, and he hits him so hard that his hands plunge right through the chest, and of course there's big teeth inside the. Oh my God! It bites off both of his hands, like right at the forearm, you know, just he's just bloody and he's screaming and his hands are being chewed on by this damn thing which is inside the body, you know, because the guy had a heart attack, he died, so they're trying to revive him, of course, and of course then you know the thing comes sprouts out of it, and everything hits the ceiling, it's got all the tentacles, and it looks like Charles Callahan, you know, or whatever, I think that's his name, and they have to flamethrow the thing, and oh my god. I'm not going to give every little scene, but there is one scene I want to talk about. One scene. During that same particular scene, his head kind of like splits off from the rest of his flame-throwed body, and we call him Spiderhead. Oh my god, it's disgusting. It falls on the floor, and it looks like his face and everything, like the body that's got these long like eyeball things hanging out, and then it sprouts these spider legs and tries to get away, you know, walk through the hallway and get away, and everybody's looking at it and goes, what the fuck, you gotta be fucking kidding, man. So Kurt Russell just flamethrowers the thing. It's you know, running around on fire and everything. It looks like a spider head, basically. It's disgusting. Oh my god. There is some CGI in this movie, a little bit of CGI in this movie, which looks a little bit phony towards the end, you know, when they're going to decide to blow up the whole camp and start it on fire because they have no way, you know, a lot of people have been killed already, you know, and you know, they're hopeless, you know, they have no hope, you know, because they know they're all screwed, you know, and it's, man, I got a booger up my nose, and it's inside my suit, and it's really a bummer. Look at Michael. Michael's discoing back there. I can hear his Saturday Night Fever theme right now. Oh, yes. Oh, Michael, he wanted, you know, like I explained a couple nights ago, he wanted his personality to be more sparkling. He wanted to be illuminated back there, so he had me buy this like $8 disco light that spins around, and you can see all the, you know, it really looks cool in the dark, but you know, it kind of makes him kind of look like he's, you know, like I don't know how you explain it. You guys can figure that one out, you know, by just looking at that back there, you know. Anyway, you know, oh my god, it's a good movie. Let's see, who's all in this? Wilford Brimley's in this movie. He plays the doctor, one of the doctors and stuff. There's a lot of good actors in this movie. Everybody, like I said, does a great job at their particular role, you know, and it's very believable, you know, with a touch of humor thrown in, but mostly sci-fi horror. You know, it moves along at a very nice pace. You know, it's not slow really in any spot. It's very, you know, beautifully directed by John Carpenter, and all the special effects by all the other people that worked on the film. You know, the directors and the special effects. Rob Bottin, by the way, gets a nod up because his special effects are just outstanding, and you know him and his crew just did an outstanding job on these special effects. These special effects still hold up today as they did 33 years ago. I mean, you will be completely grossed out and completely, you go, how the fuck did they do that? How did they do that? That looks so real. It was meant to look real. Yeah, I mean, him and his crew did just a truly outstanding job in these special effects. They're disgusting and slimy and gooey, and ooh, God, it just makes you, you know, want to run from that camp as fast as you can, man. You don't want that thing latching onto you, you know, and getting this tentacles inside of you and absorbing your being and stuff like that. And oh my God, it's just a complete horrible, you know, thing to think about, you know. But I know it's only a movie, but you know, it's very well done. Like I said, I just watched this version a couple days ago. This is actually a pretty good version by Red Ray HD DVD, and I think I'm gonna rate this movie right now. Anyway, well, the ending, I'm gonna give the ending I'm kind of gonna give the anyway. Kurt Russell and Keith David, I think that's I think it's Keith David, big black dude. They're the last two surviving members of the camp, and so they decide to burn the entire place down because they know they're going to freeze to death when the the fires go out and stuff. But they know they're screwed. They're not getting back to civilization and stuff like that, and they're screwed. So they decide to have a drink together while the camp's on fire and everything's warm, But as soon as those fires go out, they're basically going to freeze to death. And of course, that's where they should have made a sequel to this movie. I don't understand why they didn't. I think John Carpenter would be well served to make a sequel to this movie because, oh my God, it would be a great idea for a sequel. They come to the camp, the rescue team, and find Kurt Russell and Keith David, froze to death, of course, and then, but maybe one of them has got the thing in them. Who knows? So I'm going to end this review because I don't want to stretch this out much longer than 20 minutes because people are bitching about it. Well, I think I already told you what I'm going to give this movie. I'm going to give this movie a 10 out of 1 out of 10 Spiderwebs. This movie rates a 10 in my book. I know a lot of people may quibble over that, but it is a 10. Hands down 10. Hands down 10. There's no debate over that in my opinion, so it gets a 10. There's the backside, by the way. This was a good format HD DVD. I wish they hadn't gone out of business because I thought the picture quality was better than Blu-ray. And the menus are better and stuff like that. So there's the picture of it. Okay, so it gets a 10. Bitch at me you want, in the comment boxes below, whatever you want to do, but it rates a 10. Okay? So we're going to end this one tonight, and I hope you enjoyed my review. And I'm thinking about reviewing the original Thing with Kenneth Tobey, maybe in a couple nights. That's a great movie. That movie rates a 10 too. You all know what movie I'm talking from, like the mid-50s, 1955. We'll get to that movie maybe in a day or two, and that movie's great. This movie is basically a remake of that movie from the 50s, so that was a great movie too. So anyway, we're gonna cut this movie review short, and I hope you enjoyed my review here, and we will see you next time at Spidey's movie review. See you later. Bye.